Next, I would like to call upon our Executive Director, Mr. Ramesh Sharma, to deliver the welcome address. In fact, the theme of this 8th edition of Compliance 1010 has been coined by him as navigating ethics, governance, compliance in a hybrid work environment. Mr. Sharma is a former Indian Police Service officer who retired as the Director General of Police, Madhya Pradesh, India. He has also served for 20 years in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, and also had a stint for 4 years as a diplomat, working for the Counselor in the High Commission of India, Ottawa, Canada. Mr. Sharma has also served as the Director General of the Economics Offence Wing and dealt with high-profile cases relating to fraud, bribery, and corruption. He has also co-authored a book, Combating Corruption in India, which has been published by the Cambridge University Press in October of 2018. The foreword for the book has been written by a well-acclaimed international jurist, Professor Dr. Upendra Bakshi. For his outstanding 35 years of distinguished service, he has been awarded several award and honor rolls, prominent among which are the President of India's Medal for Distinguished Service, the Prime Minister of India's Medal for Meritorious Service, and the Police Special Duty Medal with First Bar for difficult posting in Ladakh, Nagaland, and Manipur. Over to you now, Mr. Sharma.
Distinguished and esteemed guests, my fellow compliance professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Legasis Private Limited, it is my honor and privilege to extend to you all a warm welcome to this unique edition of Compliance 1010. What is the situation of India today? What is the condition of India today? To describe it best, permit me to quote from a modified quote of Charles Dickens from his famous novel, A Tale of Two Cities. It is the worst of times, it is the best of times. It is the age of foolishness, it is the age of wisdom. It is the epoch of incredulity, it is the epoch of belief. It is a season of darkness, it is a season of light. It is a winter of despair, it is a spring of hope. We have nothing before us. We have everything before us. However, whether it be the winter of despair or the spring of hope, it is nevertheless our time. Choice is ours. To be negative, to be cynical, or to be positive depends all on your attitude. At the outset, Legasis bows its head and pays rich tributes to our frontline warriors, the doctors, nurses, staff, and health professionals who rose up to the challenge of one of the worst human sufferings in the annals of history of mankind caused by COVID-19. Despite tragedies in which many of them lost their lives, they battled it out, putting in months of tireless work with little sleep and even lesser time with their families, just to keep us safe. It is thanks to them that despite 3.38 crore COVID cases in India, the discharge rate has been as high as 97.93%, with around 4.5 lakh deaths in a country of 140 crore population. It has been a stupendous effort on their part. Let us give them a big hand. I would also like to take this occasion to salute my colleagues in the police force who are out on the streets day and night, making all efforts to keep us safe. Consequently, because of the fact that they were out on the streets night and day, as many as 3,78,000 personnel tested positive, and 2,657 sacrificed their lives. They died so that we could live today. It is in these challenging times of the pandemic that we gather here to celebrate and confer awards on our compliance professionals who, despite adverse circumstances, have ensured that the compliance mechanism in the respective organizations continue to function efficiently and effectively. Compliance with hordes of ever changing and dynamic guidelines, circulars, directives of the central and state governments. I'm told by Legasis that there were as many as 2,470 such guidelines. These were difficult waters to charter and navigate by the compliance professionals by any stretch of imagination. I therefore give you all a big round of applause. Great work. The effect of the pandemic on the Indian economy has been particularly devastating. The worst affected sectors, as we all know, have been those of tourism and hospitality, entertainment, civil aviation, real estate, and automobile. From April to June 2020, India's GDP dropped by a massive 24.4%. During July to September 2020, the economy further contracted by 7.4%. The third and fourth quarters from October 20 to March 2021 witnessed only a weak recovery, with GDP rising from 0.5% to 1.6% respectively. This means that the overall rate of contraction in India was 7.3% for the financial year 2021. However, India's economy grew at a record 20.1% in April-June quarter of 2021, in spite of a devastating second wave of COVID-19 cases. S&P Global Ratings in early September said that the economy is expected to clock 9.5% growth in the current fiscal year, followed by 7% expansion in the next year. Similarly, earlier in September, even Morgan Stanley also maintained its estimate of India GDP growth at 10.5% for financial year 2022. So, ladies and gentlemen, all's not lost. We are now again at the cusp of an upward graph in economic growth. Let us now view the challenges faced by compliance professionals in the face of unprecedented business and regulatory disruption in a condensed period of time. There are enormous changes in how finance institutions operate, what regulators and supervisors expect. Compliance teams need to quickly adapt and consider the risks and challenges created by these rapid and radical changes. Some key steps that can be taken by the compliance officers to manage changing risks are: A, carry out frequent and dynamic risk assessment in conjunction with business strategy, as also evolve crisis response mechanisms within the company. Shift focus to support a new normal, redeployment of resources to face and blunt economic communications surveillance, both by rivals as well as cyber criminals. Develop medium-term compliance strategy, that is, work with business teams to understand business strategy and risk profile to make sure that compliance focuses on key compliance risks. Manage compliance in the online environment, and as normalcy is restored gradually in a hybrid work environment. Update various policies in view of remote and hybrid work environment. Clearly understand cyber crimes, fraud, and corruption threats emerging out of working increasingly online, and putting in place strategy and controls to deal with them, particularly in collaboration with the IT team. To put it briefly, dear compliance professionals, you must be the three A's: agile, alert, and alive to existing risks in your respective work environments and draw up strategies to counter threats emerging from risk assessment. In this dynamic environment, there is an urgent need for the compliance professionals to reassess the situation, reimagine their operations, redeploy their resources, and assist their companies to regrow. Through this event, that is this Compliance 1010, we in Legacies seek to encourage you, enhance your confidence, and egg you on to carry out your responsibilities with more fervor, more enthusiasm, and more commitment than ever before. Your companies need you now as never before. Now, let us leave the tragic past behind and look forward to a new sunrise, a new day, a new bright era. To mourn a mischief, that is disruption or hurt of the past, to mourn a mischief past and gone is to draw a new mischief on, said Shakespeare. It is for this reason this year that Legacies has chosen the pertinent theme for this event as navigating ethics, governance, and compliance in a hybrid work environment. I repeat, the theme is navigating ethics, governance, and compliance in a hybrid work environment. Similarly, extremely relevant topics are up for panel discussions with experts in the respective fields. These are: one, Atmanirbhar Bharat, role of governance and compliance; two, alternate sources of energy; three, pharmaceuticals and chemicals, role of governance and compliance; strategic resilience, consumer goods, real estate, entertainment, and retail; five, supply chain and third party compliances. So you can see, my dear friends, that we in the Legacies have tried to cover virtually all the areas which will be under pressure, and these areas will be discussed frankly with their expert opinions from the very experts in the fields. I believe that compliance is the essence, the very being of life. For without compliance, there would be chaos in the family, society, country, and the world we live in. Laws are made so that the majesty of the rule of law reigns supreme. Compliance is thus the foundation on which is built the edifice of successful, sustainable, and growth oriented business. And it's not only the human world that needs compliance. As I am fond of postulating, the entire universe, the entire nature is in a perpetual state of compliance. We do not see any traffic jams in the sky, do we? Zillions of planetary bodies comply 10-10 with the physical laws that keep them moving harmoniously in their respective orbits. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is for this reason that Legacies propagates compliance by choice and compliance 10 by 10. Any compromise, any deviation can have disastrous impact on the delinquent company. Even one non-compliance can wreak havoc. Last but not the least, I wish to salute and facilitate Mr. Suhas Tulzapurkar, a corporate lawyer and a compliance thought leader par excellence and founder director of Legasis Private Limited, who conceived in India for the first time the concept of fusion of IT and lawyering almost a decade and a half ago. This Compliance 1010 event is also his brainchild, an outcome of his relentless pursuit of this noble mission to spread the culture of ethics, good governance, and compliance in the corporate world, not only in India, but the world over. In conclusion, to you, dear compliance professionals, I have only this to say. We in Legasis believe that there are opportunities even in disruption, and that we have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep, and miles to go before we sleep, and miles to go before we sleep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of this event and lending us your valued support. Thank you and welcome to this event once again.
We would like to thank Mr. Sharma for his words of wisdom. Each year at the Compliance 1010, we release the annual edition of the Incredion. As this is the second year we've gone digital, we present to you the vlog, that is a video log of interviews by legal honchos across various sectors. We invite you to watch along. But before we proceed further, on behalf of the Legasis family, I would like to extend a warm gratitude to Bombay Stock Exchange for co-hosting this event with us. I would also like to thank our event partners, BSE Investor Protection Fund and Elephant Design.